There was a time when I thought my life was over, a moment when the world around me seemed to collapse and I felt trapped in a reality I never chose. I questioned everything, my purpose, my existence, and the unfairness of it all. But one habit changed everything. It wasn't a grand gesture, nor was it something I had to learn from books. It was a simple shift in the way I saw my struggles. The habit of choosing gratitude, no matter what. Life is unpredictable. It can change in a second, taking away everything you once believed was certain. In those moments of loss, pain, and disappointment, the mind plays tricks, convincing you that you are stuck, powerless, and alone. But the truth is, the way you perceive a situation holds more power than the situation itself. The way you choose to see your struggles can either break you or build you. When I faced adversity, I had two choices: to drown in self-pity or to shift my perspective. I could either look at my challenges as an unfair burden or as an opportunity to grow. That choice changed everything. Instead of asking, why me, I began asking, what can I learn from this? Instead of focusing on what I lost, I started appreciating what I still had. The moment I changed my mindset, my life transformed. Difficult times often seem like the end, but they are actually a beginning if you choose to see them that way. A broken dream can be the start of a new purpose. A painful rejection can be a redirection towards something better. The things we believe are ruining our lives might actually be shaping us into stronger, wiser, and more resilient versions of ourselves. But this realization only comes when we decide to shift our perspective. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. Two people can go through the same storm, yet one comes out defeated while the other rises stronger. The difference is not in what happened to them, but in how they perceive it. If you see obstacles as barriers, they will stop you. If you see them as stepping stones, they will elevate you. The greatest power anyone can have is the ability to control their thoughts. You cannot control the world, but you can control how you respond to it. You can choose to see problems as punishments or as lessons. You can choose to focus on what's missing or on what's possible. The moment you take control of your perspective, life stops being something that happens to you. It becomes something you create. No matter what happens, you have the power to reframe your struggles, to find meaning in your pain, and to turn setbacks into stepping stones. Because in the end, it's not the situation that defines you, but how you choose to see it. Life is filled with challenges and no one is immune to them. At some point, we all face moments that test our strength, break our hearts, and push us to our limits. In those moments, it is easy to believe that challenges are punishments, that life is unfair, and that we are simply unlucky. But the truth is, the difficulties we face are not meant to destroy us, they are meant to shape us. Every challenge carries a hidden gift, one that reveals itself only when we learn to embrace adversity instead of resisting it. When something goes wrong, our first instinct is often to ask, why is this happening to me? But what if we asked instead, what is this trying to teach me? Every struggle, no matter how painful, holds a lesson. Failure teaches resilience. Rejection teaches redirect. Loss teaches appreciation. Hardships are not roadblocks. They are stepping stones leading us to where we are meant to be. Think about the strongest, most inspiring people in the world. They did not become who they are because life was easy. They became who they are because they faced challenges head-on and refused to let them define their limits. They understood that pain is temporary, but the wisdom and strength it brings last forever. Often, when we are in the middle of a difficult situation, we fail to see its purpose. We see only the discomfort, the uncertainty, and the struggle. But when we look back, we realize that the very things we once thought were setbacks were actually setups for something greater. The rejection that crushed us led us to a better opportunity. The failure that embarrassed us taught us a lesson that changed our path. The hardship that made us cry built the resilience that later made us unstoppable. Life will never be free of challenges, but we have a choice. We can see them as burdens or we can see them as gifts. Every challenge forces us to grow, to dig deeper, and to discover strengths we never knew we had. If we embrace them instead of running from them, we will realize that the most difficult moments in life are often the ones that shape us into the best versions of ourselves. Instead of fearing challenges, welcome them, because within them lies the power to transform your life in ways you never imagined. Gratitude is one of the most powerful habits a person can cultivate. It has the ability to transform pain into peace, loss into learning, and ordinary moments into extraordinary blessings. Life is not always perfect, and it never will be, but choosing to focus on what we have instead of what we lack can change everything. Gratitude is not just about saying thank you for the good times. It is about finding appreciation even in the difficult moments. There was a time when I felt like I had lost everything. I could have focused on what was missing, what had been taken away, or what life had denied me. But instead, I made a choice to focus on what was still there. I began to see the small things I had once taken for granted: the warmth of the sun on my skin, the kindness in a stranger's smile, the love of the people who stood by me. These were not just simple things, they were gifts. And when I started acknowledging them, my perspective on life changed. The habit of gratitude shifts our focus from scarcity to abundance. When we constantly think about what we don't have, we live in a state of dissatisfaction, always chasing something more. But when we practice gratitude, we start seeing how much we already have. We realize that happiness is not in achieving something big. It is in appreciating the little things that make up our days. A simple meal, a conversation with a friend, the ability to breathe, to see, to feel. These are things many people wish for, yet we often overlook them. Gratitude also has the power to heal. When we focus on what is good in our lives, we stop dwelling on our pain. It doesn't mean our struggles disappear, but it means we no longer let them control us. Gratitude teaches us to accept life as it is, to find beauty even in imperfection, and to recognize that every experience, whether joyful or painful, adds something valuable to our journey. The most beautiful thing about gratitude is that it doesn't depend on circumstances. It depends on choice. Every day we have the opportunity to wake up and decide whether we will focus on what's missing or cherish what we have. And the moment we start choosing gratitude, we realize that we are already richer than we ever imagined. Self-belief is the foundation of every great achievement. It is the quiet voice inside that tells you to keep going when the world tells you to stop. It is the courage to trust yourself even when no one else does. Without self-belief, dreams remain just dreams and potential remains unrealized. The way you see yourself determines how far you go in life. If you believe you are capable, you will find a way. If you doubt yourself, even the easiest path will feel impossible. There was a time when I questioned my worth, when the voices of doubt were louder than the voice of faith. I looked around and saw limitations instead of possibilities. But then I realized something powerful. No one in this world can define me unless I allow them to. No one else can determine my worth except me. The moment I stopped waiting for approval, I started building my own path. And that's when everything changed. Self-belief is not about being perfect. It is not about having everything figured out. It is about knowing that no matter what happens, you will find a way to rise. People will doubt you, society will set limitations, and failures will test you. But if you hold onto the belief that you are capable, nothing can break you. The greatest minds, the most successful people, and the strongest leaders did not start with all the answers. They started with belief, a belief so unshakable that no rejection, failure, or criticism could destroy it. Doubt is a poison that keeps people trapped in fear. It makes them settle for less, give up too soon, and never take the first step. But self-belief is a fire that burns through every excuse. When you believe in yourself, you stop waiting for permission. You stop seeking validation. You take risks, make mistakes, and learn as you go. You realize that failure is not the end, it is just a lesson. The moment you decide to trust yourself, the world changes. You walk differently, you speak with confidence, and you stop fearing what could go wrong, because deep down you know that even if you fall, you will rise again. And that is the kind of strength that no one can take away from you. Success is not built on moments of inspiration, it is built on daily habits, small efforts repeated over time. Consistency is the key that separates those who dream from those who achieve. It is not about working hard for a few days and then giving up. It is about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. The most successful people in the world are not always the most talented or the most intelligent. They are simply the ones who refuse to quit. They understood that true progress comes not from one big leap, but from steady, persistent effort. There will be days when motivation fades, when results seem too far away, and when doubt whispers that your efforts don't matter. But this is where consistency becomes your greatest strength. If you only work when you feel motivated, you will never get far. Motivation is temporary, but discipline lasts. When you commit to showing up no matter what, you train your mind to push forward despite challenges. Over time, small daily actions compound into something extraordinary. Every great achievement in history was the result of consistency. Athletes don't become champions overnight. They train every day, even when they're tired. Writers don't create masterpieces in a single sitting. They write a little every day, even when the words don't flow easily. Businesses don't grow in a week. They take years of dedication, learning, and adapting. The people who succeed are the ones who kept going long after the excitement faded. The beauty of consistency is that it builds trust, not just in others, but in yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your confidence. You start believing that you are capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. And once you develop that level of self-trust, nothing can stop you. Most people quit when they don't see immediate results, but consistency teaches patience. It reminds us that growth is not always visible at first. A seed takes time to become a tree, but just because you can't see it growing doesn't mean it's not happening. The same is true for your efforts. The results will come, but only if you keep showing up. Inspiration is not reserved for the famous, the wealthy, or those with perfect lives. It is something every person has the power to give. The courage to inspire others does not come from having all the answers. It comes from being willing to share your journey, the struggles, the failures, and the lessons learned along the way. Too often, people hesitate to speak up, fearing they are not good enough or that their story doesn't matter. But the truth is, the world doesn't need perfection. It needs honesty, vulnerability, and real stories that remind us we are not alone. There was a time when I believed that to inspire others, I had to be flawless. I thought people only looked up to those who had everything figured out, but I was wrong. It is not success that connects us, it is struggle. It is not achievements that move people, it is the ability to rise after falling. When you have the courage to share your experiences, you become a light for someone who is lost in darkness. You give them hope, showing them that if you can overcome challenges, so can they. Inspiring others does not require a stage, a title, or a large following. It happens in the smallest moments: a kind word, a listening ear, a story shared at the right time. Sometimes, just by choosing to live with strength and kindness, you become a silent inspiration to someone watching from a distance. The way you handle adversity, the way you refuse to give up, the way you lift others even when you are struggling, these actions speak louder than words. Courage is needed because inspiration often comes with resistance. People will question your message. They will doubt your intentions. They will remind you of your own flaws. But true courage is continuing to inspire despite fear, despite criticism, despite your own insecurity. The world needs more people who are willing to lift others up instead of tearing them down. You may never know whose life you are touching. The words you speak, the actions you take, the resilience you show, it all has the power to impact someone in ways you may never fully realize. So don't hold back. Share your story, live with purpose, speak with kindness, because somewhere, someone needs exactly what only you can give. In the end, the greatest gift you can give the world is your courage to keep going, to rise above challenges, and to inspire others through your journey. You don't have to be perfect to make a difference. You just have to be real, to be willing, and to believe that your story matters. So, embrace your struggles, share your light, and never underestimate the power of your voice, because somewhere, someone is waiting for the hope that only you can give. Keep inspiring, keep believing, and most importantly, keep moving forward.